in-law, and he talked about some of the verbal abuse that he believes was part of this marriage that Monique had to her ex-husband, McKee. Today, we did learn some clarification, though, on the divorce that I do want to talk about, because when we looked up the couple's divorce case at the very beginning of this, we saw that there was an entry from June of last year, and it showed that there was a hearing scheduled for September 2025 in this case that was done in 2017. USA Today is reporting that the case was reopened for a clerical error. So a little bit of context on that part of the story. Now, when we look at Monique's life, she moves on. She marries this dentist, Spencer Tepe. The two marry in 2020. They have these two children who are now 1 and 4 years old. McKee, though, he goes on with his training to become a surgeon, leaves Virginia in 2020 after graduating from residency, does a fellowship, it's been reported, in Maryland. Eventually, he makes his way to Las Vegas. And this is where things get sketchy because he works for this surgical group, and it appears he had some professional issues in the months leading up to the murders of Spencer and Monique Tepe. There's this lawsuit filed in 2024 accusing a physician's assistant at the surgical practice where McKee was working of inserting a catheter incorrectly before a 2023 procedure. And the catheter allegedly broke, and an 8.6-inch part of the catheter was left in a patient's body, according to the lawsuit. Now, McKee was named not because he did the procedure, but because the plaintiff argues McKee was responsible for training this PA on how to put the catheter in correctly, and they say he didn't. Now, it's not as much the lawsuit that is what is really sketchy for McKee. It's how it apparently he responded to the lawsuit and what it unearthed about what maybe he was telling his place of employment. So the company that's trying to serve him an amended complaint say that they tried 9 times to find Michael McKee last year, starting in September, about 3 months before these murders, and they couldn't do it. They went to his address multiple times. At one point, there was a TV that was on and then turned off, but nobody came to the door. And what made it even more concerning was this company goes to Michael McKee for counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of aggravated burglary. Here's the indictment that we have at Law and Crime. And you take a look here, and you can see the counts for aggravated murder have a specification for the use of automatic weapon/silencer displayed or brandished firearm. More specifically, in the indictment, quote, it reads, the grand jurors further find and specify that Michael McKee had a firearm that was equipped with a firearm muffler or suppressor on or about his person or under his control while committing the offense. In plain terms, it appears prosecutors believe he had a silencer on the gun that he allegedly used to kill Monique and Spencer Tepe. Now, when it comes to that now 5th charge, the aggravated burglary charge he is now facing, the grand jury believed that there was enough evidence to prove that McKee trespassed into the home of the Tepes and either was in possession of a deadly weapon or attempted, threatened, or inflicted harm to another, which we know he allegedly did, both qualifying factors according to Ohio law. Now, we also know that police believe that they may have the murder weapon that was used. McKee lived in this luxury condo building in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood, and these are images that his neighbor sent us of police in her building after McKee's arrest. There was an officer posted outside his 12th floor apartment for 24 hours a day as that investigation continued on. The Columbus police chief said that inside his apartment, they found multiple weapons, but they also say they found one that they believe they have a preliminary link to that is tied to the crime scene. Local media had reported before an arrest was made that some shell casings were found at the crime scene. So very, very critical evidence as they're building their case. Now, you also may remember